Hello, good evening and welcome to Joy News Prime. We're coming to you live from our studios here in Kokolomilimi, Accra. We're live on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 125. Around the world on myjoyonline.com. Coming up this hour,
we have details as the former and current Deputy Attorney General clash over President Mahama's decision to suspend Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo after it emerged that the Council of State has established a prima facie case against her regarding 3 different petitions.
The advice of the Council of State has been very poisonous.
It would be very unfair to, as a matter of fact, describe persons who have, Council of State, to suggest that they have poisoned the system with
Well, we have reactions as the minority weighs in on the suspension of the CJ.
Also coming up tonight, Akunta Mining heads to court challenging the revocation of its mining license as it accuses government of breaching the laws of natural justice.
You will see us set the appropriate purpose and go to the court for us to support our position with evidence.
We have details as anti-police Galamsey Task Force makes 14 fresh arrests of illegal miners in Samraboy and are win in a latest swoop. We'll take you live to the area for latest. Of Ghana's Chief Justice hangs in the balance as President John Dramani Mahama suspends Chief Justice Gertrude Saki Torkornoo with immediate effect following the establishment of a 5-member committee to investigate 3 separate petitions against her after determining a prima facie case in consultation with the Council of State. This was captured in a statement released today, Tuesday, April 25, 20. The statement was released today and signed by the spokesperson for the government, Felix Kwachi Ofosu. Details of that statement is coming up on the screens now. Now, it says President John Dramani Mahama has, in accordance with Article 146(6) of the Constitution and in consultation with the Council of State, determined that a prima facie case has been established in respect of 3 petitions against the Chief Justice, Her Ladyship Justice Gertrude Saki Torkornoo. It continues to say that the President has subsequently established a committee in compliance with Article 146(6) of the Constitution and in consultation with the Council of State with the following composition to inquire into the petitions which have been referred to them. And the committee is made up of Justice Gabriel Scott Kwaman, Justice of the Supreme Court, will be the chairman. Justice Samuel Kwame Adibu-Asiedu is also a justice of the Supreme Court. He will be a member. Other members include Daniel Yao Domelewo, former Auditor General, Major Flora Bazwara Nura Dalugo is with the Ghana Armed Forces. Professor James Sefa Jisa is Associate Professor, University of Ghana. So this is a composition of the committee that will be investigating or will be doing the inquiry into these petitions brought against the Chief Justice. Former Deputy Attorney General Alfred Chiayeboah has described as a dangerous precedent the politically motivated decision by President Mahama to suspend Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo after the Council of State determined that a prima facie case has been established against her with regards to the 3 petitions. Alfred Chiayeboah, who expressed surprise at the President's decision, warned that the decision by President John Mahama will come back to haunt Ghana's democracy in the long run.
I'm rather surprised at the suspension of the Chief Justice, even though the Constitution makes for such a step to be taken. I'm surprised because the President is not bound by the advice of the Council of State. And the President may decide not to go by the advice that still indicates that the CJ should be in office while the matter is being heard by the panel. But that's the decision of the President. And I see the advice of the Council of State as being very poisonous. We have to be very careful the way we treat the head of any arm of government in Ghana. We have 3 main arms: the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. The expectation is that the Council of State will play a role in such a way that you can have a balanced track.
The Attorney General, Dr. Justice Ramsay, on his part, has rejected allegations by his predecessor and the opposition MPP that the suspension of the Chief Justice is politically motivated. He argued that the suspension is necessary to help the Chief Justice to prepare and put up proper defense before the committee and, most importantly, prevent interference in this matter.
At this point, I think what is happening is a very technical issue, which also is specifically prescribed and dictated by the Constitution. So I would suggest, and I will plead with everyone to be very, to desist from politicization. And I've already heard some commentaries of, especially the former, my very good friend. He said the Council of State has poisoned something. If you have not seen the petition and the content, which I have not seen, and he has also not seen, it would be very unfair to, as a matter of fact, describe persons who have, Council of State, I think we all know the composition of the Council of State, to suggest that they have poisoned, the system with a decision of merely saying that it's a case to be answered.
Well, the Deputy Attorney General also addressed the key issue of timeline within which a final determination is expected on the matter. He argues that the extent of allegation and the number of witnesses, as well as the eventual defense that the Chief Justice will put up, will determine how swift the matter will be dealt with.
No specific timeline, but the general understanding by legal, what lawyers call reasonable. It means that we should look at the extent of the allegations and also the number of witnesses that may be required, the volume of documents that may be analyzed, and all the things that to come to. But it shouldn't be a long process. And I think there's a general idea of how long someone may act in a position. For example, we know in the public service, there's a general rule that you shouldn't act beyond a certain number of months. I believe that if we go by that, we should be able to come to the conclusion not beyond what is usually considered reasonable for acting, which is, I think, 6 months or so. But of course, it could be shorter, depending on the nature of the allegation, the number of witnesses, even the nature of the defense that the Chief Justice will mount. These are all factors that are going to determine what is reasonable. So, but I think it's a governance issue, and we cannot live in a limbo for long.
Well, the minority in Parliament, they've been wading in on this controversy about the suspension of the Chief Justice. My colleague Latif Idrisu has been perusing that document. He joins us live with more. Latif, what exactly does it say?
Like you rightly pointed out, this statement is by the minority caucus in Parliament. And it's the statement captions statement by the minority in Parliament condemning President Mahama's brazen judicial coup and attempts to undermine the judiciary. These are strong-worded statements from the minority caucus. So to the meat of the matter, the statement reads, the decision by President John Dramani Mahama to suspend her ladyship Chief Justice Gertrude Araba Esaba Saki Tokonu under the purported authority of Article 146 of the 1992 Constitution is nothing short of a brazen judicial coup, a reckless abuse of executive power, and direct assault on the independence of Ghana's judiciary. This move, taken while legitimate legal challenges are pending before the Supreme Court, reeks of intolerable political vendetta, judicial intimidation, and a calculated attempt to pack the court with NDC sympathetic justices as openly promised by President Mahama in Akosombo in 2023. Point 1, a clear violation of due process and pending judicial review. It explains further that it is an unpardonable affront to the rule of law that the President has, in consultation with the Council of State, proceeded to suspend the Chief Justice while the Supreme Court is yet to rule on the constitutionality of the very process being used against her. This is judicial overreach of the highest order, a textbook case of executive interference and a dangerous precedent reminiscent of the dark days of President Kwame Nkrumah's removal of Chief Justice Akukosa in 1963 for making judicial decisions the president did not like. The minority in parliament, by this statement, is absolutely right in condemning this unlawful suspension, and we as lawmakers committed to justice, constitutionalism, and the sanctity of the judiciary unequivocally demand the immediate reversal of this unconstitutional act. Point 2, a politically motivated witch hunt to control the judiciary. President Mahama's action confirms what many have long suspected, that this is not about accountability, but about raw political control. His public declaration in Akosombo that he intends to, in effect, balance the judiciary by appointing NDC-aligned judges exposes the ulterior motive behind this sudden rush to remove the Chief Justice. This is neither good governance nor credible attempt to quote-unquote reset of the judicial in its tyranny. If the president believes he can strong-arm the judiciary into submission, he must be reminded that Ghana is a constitutional democracy, not a fiefdom. The people of Ghana will not tolerate the suppression of judicial independence for partisan gain. The statement reads.
Thank you so much, Lateef Idrisu, for bringing us updates on that. If you just tuned in, the minority is condemning the suspension of the Chief Justice.
Away from that, Akunta Mining Company is threatening to drag government to court as it challenges the decision to revoke its mining license over claims it is involved in illegal mining. Now, Monday, Lands and Natural Resources Minister Emmanuel Amakofibua directed the Minerals Commission to terminate all mining licenses held by the company, which is owned by the MPP's Ashanti Regional Chairman Bernard Enchibo-Siako, popularly known as Chairman Wuntumi, over claims it is involved in illegal mining. But in a statement released on Monday, the company denied any involvement in illegal mining and accused government of political witch hunting and breaching the laws of natural justice. On your screen now is a copy of that particular statement, and it says, management of Akunta Mining Company Limited has noted with grave concern the reckless and baseless accusations made against our company by Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Honorable Emmanuel Amakofibua, during a recent press conference. Now, let it be stated on record and without ambiguity that, one, Akunta Mining is a lawfully registered large-scale mining company operating under valid leases and permits granted by the Minerals Commission. Our concessions are located in Samraboy and Abokwasi and not in the Tano Nimre Forest Reserve. Two, that in 2022, the Minerals Commission clearly stated in an official press release that, quote, Akunta Mining Limited has no mining lease, mineral right, or permit to undertake any mining operations in the Tano Nimre Forest Reserve, unquote. Three, our application for access to the Forest Reserve was never granted. Official letters from both the Minerals Commission and the Forestry Commission, dated 7th and 8th September 2022, confirm that no entry permit was issued to Akunta Mining for that forest area. Four, contrary to the narrative being pushed, we are not mining and have never mined in the Tano Nimre Forest Reserve. Five, in fact, our commitment to environmental responsibility is all documented in a letter dated 29th April 2021 addressed to the chairman of the Western Regional Security Council, RECSEC. Akunta Mining formally expressed our gratitude for the removal of illegal miners from our concession and outlined our intent to embark on a 6-month backfilling and reclamation exercise to then close the dangerous pits left behind by illegal miners, even before commencing full-scale operations. Quote, although this is estimated to cost the company hugely, we consider it as imperative to ensure a responsible mining project that will protect both the community and the environment, unquote, the letter said. 6, it says, as part of that commitment, over 18,000 coconut trees have already been planted, with 32,000 more expected to be planted as part of a comprehensive reclamation effort. 7, allegations that we took 350,000 cedis from illegal miners to allow access to our concession are entirely false, defamatory, and mischievous. We challenge anyone making this claim to provide evidence. 8 says the suggestion that one Mr. Isi is a liaison between Akonta Mining and illegal mining syndicate is also completely false. We vehemently deny any knowledge or association with this individual. He does not represent, work for, or act on behalf of Akonta Mining in any capacity. 9, we are not responsible for the activities in the Tanon Imre Forest Reserve. That responsibility lies solely with the Forestry Commission and the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. It is deeply concerning that state institutions are shifting blame onto a private company that has never been granted access to the said area. So that is what they are saying. They continue to say that the decision by the minister to publicly accuse us and call for the revocation of our license without any investigation or hearing is not just unfair. It is a clear breach of natural justice and a politically motivated act. So that is the details of the statement that Akonta Mining released in response to the decision by the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources.
Okojo, let's explore this further, and thankfully we have a member of the legal team for Akonta Mining, Andy Apiakubi. He joins us live with more. Andy, thank you so much for your time here on Joy Newsroom. I just want to understand, what exactly are you seeking in court? Are you challenging the revocation of the license, or you are filing a defamation suit against government? Mr. Kubi, you may have to unmute for me so that I can hear you clearly. Well, if you just tune in, we're just getting updates from lawyer for Akonta Mining, Andy Apiakubi, who is joining us live here on Joy News Prime. Thankfully, he has unmuted and we can hear him now live and clear. So, Kubi, I just wanted you to clarify for me. You say you're going to court tomorrow. I just wanted to get a sense of the reliefs you'll be seeking. Are you challenging the revocation of the license that government has withdrawn, or you are actually filing a defamation suit against government because of the allegations that your company is involved in illegal mining?
My instruction is in both parts. First part is to challenge the purported instruction to revoke the license of Akonta Mining, and also to seek an injunction to restrain them from acting or taking any decision that will affect the interests of Akonta Mining Company, and also file a defamation action for the statements made against the integrity of the company and its directors.
In your interview earlier, you claimed that the company has not been given fair hearing. Have you reached out to the Lands Ministry since the decision was made?
Not yet. We have not been in touch with Lands Commission, and they have not also made any contact to the company, either by the chief executive or its directors. So our instructions still stand that we bring an action against the company, against the government of Ghana, and also the Minister of State, and seek also remedies that are available to us, and also seek to injunct the Minerals Commission and the Minister of State.
But it's not the first time, Council, that Akonta Mining name has come up when it comes to the activities of illegal mining. As far back as the year 2022, Kenneth Ashibe and Martin Pebu, they petitioned the then CID concerning the activities of Akonta Mining. They wanted the board of directors to be prosecuted because of the same allegations that have come up in the past. How do you respond to increasing calls for the prosecution of leadership of Akonta Mining? And you represent these individuals.
Yeah, the Attorney General's office has always been the same Attorney General's office, except the change in personnel. So if anybody petitioned that office, we as Akunta Mining, we don't have any control over the judicial process. It is the Attorney General who supervises the so-called judicial process if there is a petition before Attorney General. Attorney General will normally prosecute a matter if it has enough evidence to sustain the prosecution. So it is not the case that any petition at all filed with the Attorney General will trigger a prosecution process. So I will not be able to explain why the prosecution has not commenced pursuant to the petition. But we are always available for the Attorney General to trigger any process of prosecution. We will wait for Attorney General to invite anybody or to start a process. But we have always maintained the position that Akunta Mining has not sponsored anybody into any forest area in Ghana. Neither has Akunta Mining itself undertaking any prospecting or mining activities in the forest areas. So if there are information or there are allegations of persons mining in the forest areas, they can exercise the mandate of the arrest and prosecution of such culprits, but definitely not people associated with Akunta Mining.
Thank you, member of the legal team for Akunta Mining, Andy Apiakubi, for your time here on Joy News Prime.
Organizations for government to take further steps against the principal officers of Akunta Mining, including prosecution. It will be recalled that in 2022, the Media Coalition Against Galamsey petitioned the CID after a Joy News investigation on the conduct of the company in the Tamale forest. Convener of the group, Dr. Ken Ashby, says the new government must act tough against the company.
The CEO for the Minerals Commission confirmed that when the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources said that Akunta Mining was involved in an illegality at the time. And I know for a fact that the Forestry Commission had also done some investigations, had spoken to the investigators who had done some work. But unfortunately, sitting on the platform in Koforidua, His Excellency, the former president, when I asked him about what he was doing about Akunta Mining, he looked all Ghanaians in the face and answered the question that Akunta Mining was not involved in Galamsey as we speak. Before I asked him a question about mining as we speak, the question was about the illegality that his minister had complained about, his regulator had spoken about, the police had been there. And so I'm happy that this is happening. I'm happy that for once, you've gone a step beyond what the former Minister for Lands is doing, and we would entreat the Attorney General and everybody else to ensure that we deal with things like this. If we don't, unfortunately, the windows are closing up on us.
Well, Dr. Ken Ashby is joining us now, for more on this. He's the convener for the Media Coalition Against Galamsey. Doc, I'm grateful to you for joining. Now, Akunta Mining is denying flatly that they are involved in any, illegality. You have not heard anything from the police on this matter at all since the time you petitioned the CID to investigate this?
Well, thank you very much. So I was just looking back again into the number of petitions that we've done on this Akunta Mining issue. And we still, for me, the government says they've done some work. Our petition and all the, the information surrounding that, what happened 2 years ago, still stands. The fact that Akunta Mining, if you look at the work that was done by Erastus, if you look at the issues that happened between the police and the staff of Akunta Mining, the fact that the clashes had happened because of the Akunta Mining and their vehicles, well branded at the particular time, were in the Tamale Forest Reserve. And the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources that was the MPP Minister for the Lands and Natural Resources, had stated, in the statement I issued about the illegality of Akonta mining's activities. The Minerals Commission, who is the regulator of the sector, had confirmed what the Minerals Commission, the minister had said. And so for me, our petition that we had sent about the issues that had happened, previously still stands. Anything else the current government says they have would be a bonus. So when I hear about the fact that Akonta mining is not mining as we do now, my argument is that our petition, so far as this is concerned, is about what happened previously. Okay. And knowing, we know that there's no time limitation for any crime committed under the Minerals and Mining Act. And so we would insist that the petition that we currently have with the AG, who then referred us that they are not the primary agency responsible for investigation, and the IGP, which was directed at the Director General CID, for which we did not see any action, still subsists. Okay. And we will be insisting. We are going to even be following up on that petition with a letter to the IGP in the coming days. Okay. So what next do you intend doing now that Akonta Mining says, well, I'm going to sue for defamation and for, the minister trying to revoke our license legally? Well, you see, our suit with, our petition with the Attorney General and the Director General CID, the IGP, still stands. And, based on all the information I've told you, from the information given by the minister then, who was an MPP minister, from the Minerals Commission, who are the regulators, for the particular sector, that petition still is with the police, and we would follow that up. We would follow that up with the police. Okay. Who are close with the power to be able to engage in this. What we would do is that the government definitely, I'm sure the minister talked about the fact that the police were involved in that. We would leave them to be able to come up with the evidence so far as this is concerned. Okay. But there is a previous case that points Akonta Mining and its directors has been responsible for mining in the Tanonimiri Forest Reserve. And also there's ample evidence about the allegations that were made about the fact that they breached the buffer policy, about the buffer between their concession that lies outside the Tanonimiri Forest Reserve and the Tano River. And so that old petition that we have is still subsisting with the attorney, the IGP, that we are going to follow up on. So we'll leave the government to be able to deal with this one, with the evidence that they have. And I'm sure they will be able to deal with, they would do what they have to do with Akonta Mining. But so far as we are concerned, that previous petition that was sent still subsists, and we will follow up on that petition. I'm grateful to you, Dr. Ken Ashbe, for joining us now. We've tried to reach out to the police for a comment on the petitions which were sent to them in 2022, but we've not been able to get them. They've declined to comment on this particular development for now.
We'd like to brief you that news just coming in currently is that the Health Minister, condemns Mahama, has officially sacked the CEO of Tamale Teaching Hospital following his visit to the area, and we'll give you details in our story coming up shortly.
Well, this is Joy News Prime. We'll take a break here. We'll be back with details of that particular story involving Tamale Teaching Hospital and more. Do stay with us. Well, welcome back from the break, and let's bring you more news here because there's more shakeups expected within the Ghana Police Services Divisional and Regional Commands in the coming days as Inspector General of Police, COP, Christian Teteyonu, reshuffles divisional and district commanders in Galamsey-prone areas. The affected regions include Western, Central, and Eastern regions. Ahead of the reshuffle, the IGP himself is leading a team of police officers in a raid on several Galamsey sites where at least 47 illegal miners, including foreigners, have been arrested so far. The police say this latest reshuffle is part of a broader strategy to clamp down on Galamsey activities across the country. Listen to the Director of Public Affairs at the Ghana Police Service, ACP Grace Ansah-Krofi, who states that more police chiefs will be moved in the coming days. She spoke to my colleague, Mami Esi Nyamiche Thompson, on News Desk earlier.
This initial reshuffle is just the first phase. Several other reshuffling will also follow. In addition to that, we have intensified our operations across Galamsey areas. And just this week, we had a very successful operation within the Samurai Boy areas, where our officers arrested about 47 Galamseyers, including 39 Ghanaians and 8 Chinese, and also retrieved about 17 excavators, 1 bulldozer, some motorbikes, vehicles, some pump-action guns, 4 of them, and a single barrel gun, as well as other exhibits that are assisting our investigations. So we are adopting multiple approaches. Our operations are on. Our officers' new command in position. We are also engaging communities, and we are working with other stakeholders as well, so that together we can fight and make some great strides as far as the fight against Galamsey or illegal mining activities are concerned.
Well, for clarity, these 47, I understand, are supposed to be arraigned today. Are they already in court? And then the Chinese nationals, have they already been handed over to the Immigration Service?
Yes, the first batch of 29 people that we arrested have been duly processed and have been put before the court this morning. The rest are still undergoing our processes, and when our initial processes are done, the Chinese among them will be handed over to the Ghana Immigration Service for them to continue with the due process.
Well, let's go on to the phone lines now. I speak to my colleague Erastus Asaridonko on the latest arrests and seizures made by the police. Erastus, at the last count, we know 47 persons have been arrested. How many more arrests have been made so far, and which of the areas where these arrests made?
So we have the team still concentrating around the Tano Nimre areas, the Samurai Boy enclave, and its surroundings. And if you remember, we focused attention on the Samurai Boy areas, the Uhiam Penika, Atala, Datano areas, where a lot of miners have besieged along the Tano River and are washing directly into the Tano River and polluting it. So they have concentrated there for some time. On 21st of this month, that's about 2 days ago, they arrested 13 illegal miners, and they have seized some equipment as well. Just yesterday, they arrested one person who, in fact, when they interrogated, he was coming out of the forest area. When they interrogated him, he led them to his mining site deep within the forest, and they have arrested him together with some excavators that he was working with. So, per my briefing, they will be concentrating around this area to make sure that they have cleared the illegal mining sites along the Tano River and inside the Tano Nimre Forest Reserve before they move on to other areas.
Well, we'll keep an eye on that one. But with regards to the equipment that they are seizing, excavators and all of that, do you know where they are taking them to?
Well, per my briefing, they have secured them. They are in the custody of the police. Some of them have been secured to the nearest police station. I'm yet to be briefed as to what will happen with those equipment. But if I understand clearly, they are to be used as exhibits in court.
Oh, that's it indeed. Well, let's do more stories now. News just coming in indicates that the Chief Executive Officer of the Tamale Teaching Hospital, Dr. Adam Atiku, has been sacked. Dr. Atiku has been captured in a video in the banter with the Health Minister, Kwamna Mintai over the poor handling of critical equipment and the situation that surrounded the death of a patient in the hospital. Well, hours after that banter, the minister has just confirmed to Evans Mensah on Newsnight on Joy FM that the CEO has been relieved of his duty. We'll hear from him shortly, but first, here's a report by correspondent Martina Bugri detailing what transpired when the minister visited the hospital earlier today.
Health Minister paid a surprise visit to the Tamale Teaching Hospital to ascertain the state of healthcare delivery at the facility. Touring the facility, the minister questioned why some of the equipment were not in use. Some of the non-functioning equipment included MRI scanners, ventilators, endoscopy machines, among others.
You were 40 from the beginning. The CSA, these are very expensive. One of them is 1.8 billion Ghana, and then they are not working.
So you never use them? They didn't run testing?
Speaking to the media after the tour, the minister said the ESCO account would help address these challenges.
There are issues of equipment that has been supplied to the facility that are not working at all. We'll look into all these matters. Looking through the issues of the equipment, MRI and CT scans, the breakdown and what have you, one of the possible solutions is to explore the PPP arrangement, where we can also invite the private sector in to have facilities on our various hospitals, except that let me make the point that whatever fees and charges they will be charging on the various premises will be subjected to the Fees and Charges Act by Parliament.
He added that another account will be set up from internally generated funds of hospitals to deal with maintenance of their facilities.
There are some of them, we'll sit down with them, they will use their internally generated funds to do. There are others that are also beyond them, we'll also link up with them from the ministry level. There are others that Mr. President will also have to hear, and then we take it. I think that Tamale deserves better than this.
Mr. Minta Kando said he would liaise with other ministers to help address the immediate challenges of water and power of the facility.
The next steps, one, is that I'm going to engage the minister responsible for Works and Housing immediately and try to make a case for Tamale Teaching Hospital to be exempted from this rationing of water. We also realize they have issues of power. Right after here, I'm also going to engage the minister responsible for power to make sure we resolve the issues.
At the emergency department, there was an exchange between the minister and the doctor in charge over the death of a patient. This is how the exchange went.
I told you to keep quiet. Your approach and your mindset tells me that is perhaps why these problems have not been resolved. When you don't do that, I told you to keep quiet. You're giving me, I've tolerated your posture, your manners after this problem. When you come and meet such a person, even ministers, look, can you imagine a president? Listen, trying to contain the situation. When you put up this behavior, even the minister, me, look at the way you are behaving in front of me. Even in front of a minister, so you can imagine how I'm trying to explain. You can imagine how you treat a common person. But you see, how can you behave like this? So it means that he's doing worse things here. It means that he's doing worse things here.
So that was the banter there between the minister and the health director of the Tamale Teaching Hospital. We're going to listen to Health Minister Kwabena Minta Kando on Newsnight.
As I speak to you now, we have thanked him for the services he has delivered at the Tamale Teaching Hospital, and we think that somebody else must come and continue as the CEO of the facility.
So he has been sacked?
Exactly.
With immediate effect?
With immediate effect.
He accepted this, or he's going to fight this?
Well, I don't know yet.
This was formally communicated to him in a letter or verbally?
In a letter.
But did you meet him today?
Yes, I did.
And because I heard you say that you're also going to set up a committee to look into the circumstances surrounding the death, the recent death. That hasn't happened yet, so I'm curious why the swift move to sack him.
We have set up the committee.
But they haven't
The
worked.
committee has been set up.
They haven't worked to give you a report yet.
No, not at all.
So isn't
it
this
is not?
premature?
So get it right. Get it right. Probably relieving him of his position is not only because of the incident that happened on Sunday. And mind you, the appointing authority owes nobody any explanation for hiring or firing an employee.
Is he a staff of the Ghana Health Service? And so if you sacked him there, he returns to the service, or he's completely out of the service?
If he is a staff of the Ghana Health Service, once he's relieved of his position as a CEO, he can be seconded to any of the agencies under the ministry.
Away from that, West African leaders say they are ready to engage in constructive dialogue as they look forward to solving the long-standing issues in the ECOWAS bloc, with 3 countries that have exited ECOWAS to form the Alliance of Sahel States. Now, according to the chairman of ECOWAS, who is also the president of Nigeria, Bola Tinubu, in a speech read on his behalf at the launch of the 50th anniversary of the regional bloc by Nigeria's Foreign Affairs Minister Bianca Ojukwu, he raised concerns about military takeovers in West Africa, saying they threatened the democratic gains of the regional bloc. President Mahama, who was the host of the event, described the withdrawal as regrettable, stressing that Ghana is ready to serve as a bridge to help resolve the impasse. Presidential Affairs correspondent Maxwell Wewa has more in the following report.
Present here at the Accra International Conference Center, where West African leaders like the Liberian President Joseph Boakai, the Vice President of the Gambia, was also present. We also had the former President of Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the Gambian chair, and other high-ranking government officials were present for the launch of the 50th anniversary of the ECOWAS. In a speech by the ECOWAS chairman, read on his behalf by the Foreign Minister of Nigeria, the ECOWAS chairman stated that he is concerned about the unconstitutional changes in West Africa.
The region continues to grapple with new and evolving threats: violent extremism, climate change, and food insecurity. The wave of unconstitutional changes in our region seriously threatens the democratic gains we have painstakingly built. I'm willing to engage in sustained, constructive dialogue with our estranged brothers, those member states currently outside our fold.
Well, President John Mahama was the host for the official launch of the 50th anniversary of the ECOWAS. The theme for the event and the year-long celebration and the official logo were unveiled here at the International Conference Center. In his speech, President Mahama stated that Ghana is ready to serve as a bridge to foster unity in West Africa.
The recent decision by Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger to withdraw from ECOWAS is a regrettable development. Yet, even in this, continuous engagement must remain our lodestar. We must respond not with isolation or recrimination, but with understanding, dialogue, and a willingness to listen and to engage. Ghana stands ready to serve as the bridge to help reknit the fabric of West African unity. We believe that through sustained dialogue, patient diplomacy, and principled negotiation, we can restore cohesion and rebuild trust in our community.
In his speech, the president of the ECOWAS Commission commended Ghana, Nigeria, and other West African countries for helping in the fight against terrorism.
We must also invest in peace and security. The terrorist menace that constitute a key driver of insecurity in the region knows no borders. This makes security collaboration within the region imperative. In this regard, I would like to salute efforts being deployed by His Excellency President Mahama.
Gentlemen, a round of applause. The 50th anniversary in all its glory.